We are back with the In Between Your Lines podcast. I said In Between Your Lines. In Between the Lines podcast. It's been a while, Jeff. What's going on?
Hey, what's happening? What's happening? How you been?
Oh, man, busy times, busy times. You ready for
Yeah,
Christmas?
almost. Yeah. I've been doing a lot of shopping lately, and um, yeah, trying to get ready. I got a couple of more gifts to get, and I'll be there. What about you?
I feel like it snuck right up on me, man.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because I don't really have to do a whole lot of shopping. I really just shop for Amy. Amy gets everything else. What's always kind of
Mm.
fun for Christmas for us is that when the kids are opening the presents, it's like the first time I've seen them too, so it's like a surprise for me too.
Oh wow, wow. So do your kids get up early, like like we used to back in the day? Like we couldn't wait for the next day for Christmas, or
Not anymore. They used to, but now,
okay.
like I said, my youngest is 14. Like I said, I feel like we had to wake them up last year, all three of them.
Oh wow.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
See, I,
they still do the like. My daughter still comes over. She's 21 now, and we all do the cookies and milk, and they all sleep in the same room together. But it's yeah, like I said, it seems like last year was the first year. It was like 8 o'clock, and we're like, okay, let's go wake them up.
she's 21 now.
I know, isn't that crazy?
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember when she was just a itty bitty thing, man. Wow.
yeah, I know.
Yeah, time ain't waiting on nobody.
No, no, it breaks
Wow.
my heart. Breaks my heart seeing her like she is now.
Yeah. For the record, I never had to be woke up for Christmas.
Me neither. Me neither. Even now, I mean, I still get up early. I get excited about it. I'm just as excited as I mean for the kids to open up presents as anybody. I
Yeah.
like the whole atmosphere of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay. All right, man. Well, we didn't record last week because of our schedules. A lot, a lot has happened, man. A lot has happened. Um, but I want to start with your guys, man. The Detroit Lions.
God, it,
Y'all players are dropping like flies, bro.
I think we have 16 defensive players on IR. I mean, for the last couple weeks, I've been feeling like it's going to come back to bite us. Like I said, it's what was amazing to me is we've had that number and still weren't allowing a lot of points. And then I think we allowed some points to Green Bay, uh, but still got the W. But I knew Buffalo was going to be a different beast, but we just couldn't
Hmm.
stop them at all. But I mean, but then we lost three more players to the season in that game.
Yeah. David Montgomery is huge, but you guys still got Gibbs.
Yeah,
Um,
but
I mean, but
they lost McNeil and Carlton Davis for the season.
that's big. And you guys still perform. No, what was it? Um, was it a 3 point difference if I remember correctly
It,
at the end of
it,
the game?
yeah, I mean it was a one score. It was a one score affair. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I don't think I've ever seen a team decimated with injuries like you guys have been, and still look as good as you look.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
don't think I've ever seen that before.
yeah, I mean to still with that many injuries, I mean, yeah, we lost, but we lost to what a lot of people are saying is the other Super Bowl favorite and in a one score game. Like so the offense can still score. I'm concerned. I mean, I know they're saying they're going to get some of these guys might come back for before or for the playoffs, but I'm I'm looking at our schedule. You know, we have Chicago this week, winnable game, but I mean, it's not a guarantee by any means. It's on the road. Chicago always gives us fits. San Francisco, San Francisco's not the same San Francisco that they have been, but they're still. I mean, they can play. And then that
Yeah.
last game against Minnesota, I mean, that can end up being a huge, huge game. I
Yeah.
was looking. They were showing the battle for the number one seed. So they were showing Detroit, Philadelphia, and Minnesota. Minnesota definitely has the hardest schedule out of the three teams. And then I would say us and Philly are pretty equal as far. I mean, Detroit has to play Minnesota, so that's a tough game. But
Okay.
I think Philly has to play Washington, which will be a tough one. But then they have Dallas and the Giants. So
So Minnesota has Seattle, the Packers, and the Lions. Oh wow.
yeah, that's a tough 3 game stretch. So
Yeah.
if we could get them to lose one of those first two, and we can win our next two, where it doesn't matter that last game, um, we have a tiebreaker with Philly. Um,
Where how
they
was that?
they said the conference record. They said right now we're still the number
Okay.
one seed because of the conference record.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean,
Uh
I feel like we definitely need that number one seed to get the bye week, get the home field. But
well, right now Detroit is number one.
right,
They're number one. Philly is number two, and Tampa is number three at 8-6.
because it goes by
Wow.
conference. Yeah,
Yeah,
it goes by
by
conference.
division. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh, and Minnesota falls all the way down to the number five spot.
right.
Green Bay number six. It's seven spots, right? The new
Right.
format,
Yep.
and Washington will have the seventh spot if it ended today.
Right.
Okay. Wow, that's pretty interesting.
Hmm. Yeah. Like I said, the injuries
Hmm.
have me nervous right now. The injuries. I mean, I'm sitting there watching their game and don't know players on their defense, and I've watched every game this year. You know what I mean? I mean, they're literally picking up people from other practice squads and they're starting. I mean,
That's crazy.
hmm
That's crazy. So, hypothetical, I'm gonna put you on the spot here.
Okay.
Let's just say Detroit won it all with
hmm
all of the injuries that they have. You know they're gonna look and say, "Hey, we won with these players. Are we gonna sign these guys that were injured?" What
Right.
would you do?
That's a tough
Uh,
call.
Out, outside of Ian Hutchinson, we know
Yeah.
what he is and what he means to the team, but these guys that they plug and play and you still win it all, that's
Yeah.
conversations will be had in that room.
Absolutely. And I mean, I think if they win it all with replacement players, I mean, I think they'll go with some of those replacement players. You know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah,
they might sign a couple of the other guys, but you got to start looking at injury history. You got, I mean, age, things like that. But I mean, and you do have a certain amount that you can spend. But yeah, that is an interesting question. But
yeah,
I I hope it's a question that we have to answer.
right. I bet. I bet. Yeah, yeah. The only team I really see standing in the way of Detroit is Philly. I mean, Saquon Barkley is, man. That boy is playing lights out.
Yeah, well, you'd said it before though too. I mean, if we end up having to play another conference team, that's tough too. I mean, like I said, if we end up having to play Minnesota or Green Bay, especially if say we beat Minnesota in the last week, either one of those teams will be okay. You have to beat them a third time, and that's tough to do.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I remember saying that.
Yeah, so we have that aspect of it, and then you got Tampa Bay, who I think matches up well with us. Um, like I said, the playoffs are going to be tough. Playoffs are going to be tough. I definitely feel like we have to secure that number one seed and get the bye and the home field because our home
Right.
field is really beneficial.
Yeah, I mean, you guys really should beat Chicago this week. Um,
Should.
Thanksgiving was a very close game. I mean,
Hmm.
that's what sent, Eberflus out the door. But
Hmm.
um, I mean, this at this point, it's really no reason for us you know, to even try and win. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. You might as well play for draft position now.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I think I would even set Caleb down. I mean, why risk getting your prize getting injured at this point? I mean, the playoffs is out
Yeah.
of reach. We
And
haven't showed any promise to do anything.
and you don't want them to like break a nail or something too, and then like have to get a new pedicure and all that kind of stuff. That really mess with them. So I agree that could shatter his confidence.
Oh man, yeah, man. We are a complete mess. Um, I look at the coaching candidates that's out there now. Mike Vrabel. He's a favorite. Um,
He's a good coach.
he is. He
Toughness.
is. Yeah, that's and what we have in that division now. With your guy and LaFleur, McConnell. I mean, our division is full of good coaches, man. So we got to counter that in some type of way.
Yeah.
Um, I know for a fact, and people probably clown me for this one, but I think I said it before, man. But Rex Ryan,
You did
and
say
he,
that before.
yeah, and he wants to coach, man, and his dad was in Chicago. He's known for the 46 defense, and man, if he can just get a good offensive coordinator, man, I think it would match the toughness that's in the division for sure.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah. So
I haven't thrown
him,
other than you saying it. I haven't heard that name thrown out at all.
well, he's put his own name out there for the Jets,
Yeah.
and I remember 2 years ago. I think it was before I think when he left Buffalo, he said he was surprised that he didn't get a call from the Bears.
Hmm.
You know, um,
Yeah.
so I know he'd take that job in a heartbeat, but I don't know what the Bears are up to, man. I
Right.
just I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, they
I'm. I'll go ahead.
I don't even think they really deserve a segment on this on this show.
I really
Us-
didn't think we were going to talk about him, to be honest with you.
this is bad, man. I'm just yeah. The only reason they coming up because obviously I'm a fan, but
Right.
yeah, it's bad, man.
Yeah.
And you know what? Uh, and this came out, and I had already heard it, but now they made it public that Harbaugh wanted to come to Chicago,
I saw that. Yeah.
and Kevin Warren was like, no. That's so you would rather let the team, the city, the fans suffer all because you don't get along with them.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. Yeah. That's wild. That's wild because that would have been a home run hire right there. So, yeah.
let's move on.
Okay. But yeah, so I wanted to move on because I'm actually pretty excited about these playoffs coming up this weekend. The college football
Yeah.
playoffs start tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Notre Dame plays Indiana tomorrow.
Yep. Yep. I think that's the
Okay.
only one tomorrow, and then I think the other three are all on Saturday. But yeah, I'm excited about them. I'm definitely going to watch tomorrow's game.
Yeah. Ohio State and Tennessee.
Yeah. I think that's the Saturday night game. That's I think
Saturday
that's
night at 8.
I think that's the one everybody's really excited about. That's
Yeah.
that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy how I became a Tennessee Vols fan all of a sudden, but I'm
Hmm.
hoping. I'm hoping.
So I'm hoping that Ohio State loses.
You know,
And
I don't think they're going to though. I think Ohio State's going to win that one.
yeah, they probably will, but I just want Ryan Day to cry like a little bitch that
He
he
does it
looks
so
like.
well. He does it so well. You know, it, he, he does it so well.
Oh, oh my God. And he looked like one too.
He
You know, I mean,
does.
it would just match. I mean, it just line up so perfectly.
There's no
But
doubt in my mind that if his pants got ripped off, there'd be a diaper on under there.
full of shit.
Full of shit. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh man.
Yep. But
Yeah, so we okay, so we covered the Lions. We got the playoffs coming up this weekend. Um it was something else that happened. I'm trying to remember what it was, but it was some breaking news as well. Kirk Cousins got benched.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for Michael Penix, man, that's I mean, and they still got a shot at the playoffs. Normally, when you got a shot at the playoffs, and didn't they win last week, and they still benched them?
Yeah, that was kind of surprising to me as well. You know, when I was at the draft in Detroit this year, and when they picked Michael Penix, I was surprised by that pick, and I remember also thinking, I mean, how does Kirk Cousins feel right now? They literally just signed him, and with the first pick, you take Michael Penix.
Well, he should feel pretty good because I don't know nobody that's robbed the NFL as much as Kirk Cousins. One playoff win, and I think he's made over $300 million in the league.
He's made a lot, and Atlanta paid him a shit ton of money to bench him in the first year. Yeah,
Why should he? Yeah, I wouldn't feel no kind of way if I was him. I'm like, hey, I'm the one with the bag.
yeah, right, right.
Yeah, so
Somebody posted a picture. It was that picture of from any given Sunday of the two quarterbacks, and they had said Mike. They said Penix and Cousins on the sideline this weekend, and it was funny because that's exactly it.
yeah,
It fits pretty well, but yeah,
yeah,
that is
so
interesting.
yeah, Kirk Cousins won't be in an Atlanta Falcons uniform next year. I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I mean, they got to just kind of cut their losses on that, and especially if Penix comes out and plays well. I mean, I guess if Penix sucks, then maybe. I mean, if he looks like completely out of his element, but I mean, I thought Penix was one of the better quarterbacks out of all the ones taken, though. I just so that's when he got drafted there. That was the other thing. It just didn't make sense to me. Was oh okay. I mean, I guess if you go back to the old school way of how you're supposed to develop a quarterback, have them go to and
Yeah.
learn from a veteran quarterback, that works out well. But
Well,
he's
I was more surprised about the Kirk Cousins signing
yeah,
than I was about the Penix pick
yeah.
and how much they gave him. I was just
Yeah,
like, wow,
yeah,
this
a
is
ton. Coming off a torn Achilles, or was it an ACL or something like that too? He had a major injury that he came off of too. I mean,
Achilles.
so
Achilles.
that age, with like you said, one playoff win and a torn Achilles, and they gave him the bag. That's wild.
Yeah, yeah. Um, let me see. Uh, there was another NFL story. I know Mahomes got hurt, but it looked like he's going to play.
Yeah, they said he's game to game.
Um, yeah, it is slipping my mind. It was something else that
It was NFL though. It wasn't like that. The Milwaukee Bucks won the NBA Cup. At
the
least they're not going to hang a banner though, like the Lakers did.
the NBA is such a joke. I mean, the ratings are are way down.
What do you think the reason for the ratings are? I know we talked about this a little bit a couple weeks ago about what Shaq said, but what do you think the reason for? Because I've heard a couple different takes on this now, and it's like, oh, that makes sense too. And so what do you think it is?
Well, my own personal opinion, I think it's just boring to watch. I mean, just coming down and just shooting threes, it doesn't seem like any plays are being ran.
Hmm.
It's just all about the long ball. Um, and with the long ball being taken away, there's no dunking, you know, there's no more, like, fadeaways. Like the mid-range down low game really made the NBA fun to watch. And you kick it out for a three, boom, but you know, there are no more true centers. I mean, there's so many different things that plays a part in it, in my opinion. Um, it's just not the same. It's not. They just look so unorganized when they out there. It's just they just shoot setting up for that 3-point shot.
Well, it's weird because I was watching pretty in depth in the last couple weeks about some things, and like I said, the 3-point shot is definitely, I mean, has definitely changed the game. But if when you watch, so I'm watching, and they are setting up plays and some intricate plays. But it's all designed to
For
get
the
open
three.
to get open threes, right? But
Yeah.
it's still pretty intricate and developed in what they're doing. But I mean, I watched the game the other night where between the two teams there was 75 missed three pointers.
And that's
Yeah.
not basketball to me.
No, and I mean,
Pulling up from half court, just inside the half court line, because
I
you open and pull up a three.
they showed a segment. I think it was I think they just kind of threw it on TikTok like 2 weeks ago when they had said this is why people can't watch the NBA anymore. But it was little. I think it was the Lakers and the Suns, and it was like 7 or 8 possessions where one team went down, they came up, no passing, threw up a three. The other
I
team got the
seen that.
rebound,
Yeah,
came back, shot a three, and it was literally 5 minutes of each team going down and at most one pass, pull up three, miss. Other team goes down at most one pass, pull up three, without either one of them making it. I think it was 13 straight misses between the two teams, and that's tough to watch.
it is.
But I
It
mean, I
is.
was watching the NBA Cup last night though, for real. It was Milwaukee and
Milwaukee.
Oklahoma City, but if you watch Milwaukee, I mean, Milwaukee still has people that go up and shoot threes, but they were working some high-low post stuff with Giannis and Robin Lopez, both 7 footers, and they were getting dunks and lobs to each other because they were setting it up. So I was like, oh, okay, that's a little different. You don't see that as much anymore. But it's funny. Do you ever listen to Gilbert Arenas and his podcast?
I've never listened to a whole podcast all the way through. I just always see clips.
He's a clown. I mean, I think he says things legitimately just to go viral and get clickbait. But so he had suggested the other day that it. I mean, he was being a little facetious with it, but he said kick out all the European players because that's what it is. The European players can't play defense, so they've changed the game um, to fit the European style where they don't play defense. And I mean, so I kind of tried to think about it a little bit, and I always whatever he says, I take a little bit with a grain of salt because, like I said, I think he's had some absolutely ridiculous takes. And so, I mean, what they were highlighting is they were highlighting like Jokic and Luka Doncic, who are two of the biggest NBA stars and both European. And yes, they're not known for their defense, but at the same time, there was already people pointing out there's like, oh, but there's tons of good European players that are good defenders. That's not what it is. You look at like Giannis and Rudy Gobert and things like that that are defensive player of the year candidates. So that's not it. It's not the whole no defense because of the Europeans. But somebody brought up to me, I know we talked about Shaq's take on it, which is the whole 3-point thing, but something was brought up and I thought this was an interesting take, that they were talking about AAU basketball. And AAU basketball is definitely, I mean, I've got I'm so involved in youth and high school basketball now that AAU is absolutely taken over, and I do think that that does have an aspect of ruining the game. But what they were talking about was, the basketball that we grew up on, the some of the star players that came up, they came up from the streets. They came up from Harlan and Ruckus Park and LA, and street ball came from poor, and there was a grit to it, and just a rugged, tough street type of basketball, where now everybody's playing AAU ball, and it's costs thousands of dollars, and they don't really teach fundamentals. It's all running. It's all kind of what we see right now in the NBA, and that's what they kind of said. They think they all play with each other. They play in circuits. They're all buddies. So there's none of that. I mean, like, if you remember the teams in the 80s and 90s, they hated each other. They were there ready to. I mean, they were ready to throw down. They would have killed for each other against that other team. Whereas, like, the players of today, they're all buddies and they hang out and go on banana boat rides in the summer and stuff like that. So
Mm.
I thought that was an interesting take, that the whole AAU thing, and now it's a basketball. It costs money to play and get good basketball as a youth anymore, where it used to be the good basketball was in the inner city neighborhoods and the streets.
Yeah. But I've heard Gilbert Arenas say far more worse things. I actually agree with him on this. Um, because I don't know if you remember this, but it was at the end of the tail end of Shaq's career. And he said then, I'm probably the last true center you ever see in the league.
Hmm.
And when he said that, I was like, man, what is he talking about? Why would he say something like that? You know, but he's seen it then that the NBA was going to start switching more to the European style of basketball. They took away the hand check, they took
Hmm.
away, the defensive um, side of the ball. They took it away. So that's why you can go down and just just throw these threes up. There's no competition, during the All-Star game. Those guys back in the 90s, 80s, they were really trying to win that game.
Yeah.
For bragging rights, they
Hmm.
competed.
Right.
There's no competition now. Um, and it's sad, man. I mean, for you to take away some of these teams are putting up 140 points,
But
150 points.
But why do you think it's? I mean, I guess I remember you saying that once before, like, taking away the hand checking, taking away, like, what makes you say that that is to facilitate the European style, though?
Well, if you look at the European style of play, especially during the Olympics, their style of play is totally different. They don't have the big banging down low. They are shooting three pointers.
I think the players over from Europe are more skilled than the players over here. I think the players over here rely more on athleticism. Whereas I think the players over in Europe are more skilled, like, and that's why the big guys over there shoot. That's why they do more pick and rolls. But I don't. I mean, I watched some EuroLeague and some FIBA basketball, and I don't think the defense is lacking there. I mean, like I said, I think it was like Luka Doncic said, like a year or two ago, that he said it is um, way easier to score over here in the NBA than it is in Europe, because he played
Mm.
professional basketball, I think, starting at the age of 13, and he ended up being an MVP over in that league. And he said it's way easier to score over here than it is over there. And I was reading an article where they had said that it's a different type of defense, but they rely more on a team defense concept, whereas the NBA teams tends to focus on individual defensive type of things.
But that's now.
Hmm.
If Giannis was playing back, you know, 80s, 90s, I don't think he would say it's easier to score here than it is over there.
Giannis didn't say it. Luca said it.
Oh, Luca said it. Okay.
Luca said
Yeah,
it.
well,
Giannis plays more of an '80s, '90s style basketball. He's physical and
uh,
like I said, and that's
well,
where he dominates is his physicality because nobody else is physical anymore.
yeah,
But
well, I guarantee you if he was playing and I'm gonna take me out. I'm gonna go to the Pistons, the
mhm.
bad boy Pistons, and the Celtics. If he was playing against those teams, I seriously doubt. I'll bet my left arm on it. He wouldn't have made that comment.
Well, that and I guess that's my point. That's the sense. So what Luca is saying is right now Europe is harder to score on than it is in America. So, like I said, so what are they saying that the no
Well,
defense is coming from Europe where well it's better defense in Europe right now than it is in America.
I I I I think both. I think Europe does play a part in it, but Adam Silver or whoever's running the NBA, from what I think, they think if putting up more points is going to be more exciting.
Oh, I
And
I 100% think they think that.
yeah, and that's not the case.
Mm-mm.
You know, like I said, 150 points from. I mean, let's take it when the Bulls was winning those championships when they won they six. I remember specifically when they played Utah, they was winning those games 88 to 86.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
88, 83, 92 to 87. I mean, and we was excited. I mean, this is
Hmm.
we couldn't take our eyes off of the screen.
Hmm.
Block shots, rebounds. I mean, watching Dennis Rodman dominate a game just from rebounding.
Hmm.
It's getting a rebound in today's game means nothing.
Oh, absolutely not. And like I said, I mean, and like I said, I remember, yeah, it slowly started changing that, but that was before. I mean, because by the time I go back to like the Pistons, last time they won with Chauncey Billups and Ben Wallace in the early 2000s, they
When
were a
they beat the Lakers.
yes, they were a defensive
Yeah.
team, and that they could keep a team under 100 points, but it was very rare. But I think they led the league in teams scoring less than 100 points. But that was still well before. I mean that all that offenses came around. That was still well before this influx of European players. I mean, I think the European players is more in the last 10 years. They've slowly been allowing more scoring and taking away the hand checking and taking away that. So I don't think it's the European thing. I think it's I still go back to AAU. As I don't know if you've watched an AAU basketball game,
Oh
but
yeah, I have.
an
Yeah.
AAU basketball game is like watching the NBA All Star game. There's no defense. There's no passing. It's literally one person trying to isolate and score as many points as he can. And I mean, there's no passing. There's no defense. It's all run and gun. To me, that's what the NBA has turned into. And I think that is why the Europeans are able to come over here because the Europeans are more skilled. They actually do know how to do pick and rolls. They do know how to do team defense. They do know how to shoot every one of them. I mean, they do everything fundamentally better because I think they teach skills over there, whereas the in America's game has turned into athleticism and run.
It turned into a circus.
Yeah,
They should have elephants and clowns and you know that type of thing during the game.
yeah.
And
I mean,
I
but it's still. I mean, it's The weird thing is, like, if you watch college basketball, though, I mean, college basketball has still shifted to the 3 pointers. They're still looking 3 point first, but there's still more ball movement. There's more plays. There's still post play. There's still defense being played. So, I mean, college ball is a way better brand of basketball to watch. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, I mean, when I was, I mean, they still do a lot of different things in the NBA, but or I mean, in college basketball compared to the NBA. But yeah, NBA just, I agree. It's not as fun to watch. I still enjoy watching it, but like I said, I enjoy watching it more for individual players.
Yeah.
I don't watch it for, oh, what can I learn? Like when I watch like the Michigan Oklahoma game last night, or when I'm watching UConn or something like that, I'm actually watching it from a coach's perspective of, what are they running? Oh, will that kind of action work with my girls' varsity team? Oh, what kind of defensive set are they doing there? Oh, well, I mean, what counter is this person using for this transition game? You don't get to see any of that in the NBA. There's no breaking down, oh, what are they doing different here? Whereas in college, you can break down, oh, this team is running a 1-2-1. This one's running a 1-3-1. Oh, this one's running an amoeba defense.
Yeah.
What kind of things can they run off that? Oh, look at that chin action that they're running. I mean, that's way more enjoyable to me.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And I will always say that everything early 2000s and count backwards is better than anything that we watching in today's game.
Yeah.
The thing about because the NFL did the same thing, they took a lot away from the defensive side of the ball to put up more points.
Hmm.
But the difference is that in the NFL, the defense always adjusts to
Hmm.
what the offense is doing.
Yeah. You know,
You know,
I think all sports are like that too, though. You watch baseball; they've changed things in baseball because they want more runs. That they don't like
right?
seeing the 2-1, 1-0 ball games. They want to see a 12-10 ball game, more runs. So they make it harder for the pitchers. That's yeah. I think it's every sport.
Yeah.
It's
So
more
that,
entertainment. I mean, if you're a true fan in almost any of those sports, it's defense is like, oh yeah, that's the thing. But yeah, is that as fun to watch if for a casual? No. And so,
yeah. So baseball, that's a sensitive subject because when they were doing the steroids, the steroid era, um, Mark Aguirre, Sammy Sosa, they say Barry Bonds. The
oh, they
league knew,
they don't say Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds was.
but Barry never got caught. That's why I say that he never got. They tested him. He never tested positive for steroids. So that's why I say that. But my point is that the league knew that these players were,
Oh,
were shooting
absolutely,
up, and they
absolutely.
allowed it.
Yeah,
I
because it
can't
was.
remember what happened where they said, okay, now we about to start testing. But I
I think
mean,
it was some big government thing. I think something happened in Congress or something like that. But yeah, it was or some big lab leak or like Balco Labs or whatever like that was benefited. But yeah, I mean, it's almost like the MLB almost like secretly encouraged it because I mean
right.
that was I remember that era. I remember when they were. I mean, there was like a 5 to 10 year stretch where people were getting close to breaking that home run record. Like King Griffey Jr.
Hmm.
was in there at one time, but then yeah, Mark McGuire, Sammy Sosa. It was an awesome time to watch baseball. It was fun. It was exciting. It was everywhere. So hell yeah, MLB wanted that.
Okay. So let's just say Barry Bonds was taking it. Okay, let's just hypothetically he got caught. Before that steroid era, Barry Bonds, if you look at his numbers, he was a Hall of Fame player.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely,
So I'm saying that he should be in the Hall of Fame.
100% agree with you. 100% agree with you.
Another person that should be in the Hall of Fame, I don't know who is sitting at this Hall of Fame table with the Major League Baseball committee, but Pete Rose. Like, how is he not in the damn Hall of Fame? You got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
What is going on up there where they will not let these players in?
I think his will be coming. Like I said, I think we talked about this when he shortly before he died. Like I said, I think it was they weren't going to put him in while he was still alive, and that might be what they do with Barry Bonds. You know what I mean? Because I agree, Barry Bonds was a Hall of Fame player well before he started taking steroids. He was a great hitter. He's a great defensive player,
Yeah, he was
and
the 40-40 club.
yeah,
Like, what? I mean, how many seasons?
yeah. The one out of all those guys that like came out of nowhere and was all of a sudden something was Sammy Sosa. Sammy Sosa really wasn't known of anything. Have you seen a recent picture of him? Did you see that picture? Somebody said they showed this picture and I didn't even guess who it was. They said that the crazy thing is that Sammy Sosa and I was like, what?
Hey, man, his name is Casper. That's what I call him. His name is
Yeah,
Casper.
I was blown away when I saw that. I mean, you could have paid me $1 million. I would have never guessed that that was Sammy Sosa. But then once they said it was, I could see it in his face.
Right, right. Yeah, I mean, he looked like a Barbie doll.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I,
Yeah.
Jeez, man. I mean, he just had to play for a Chicago team, man. You know, it's just like
He was awesome though. I rooted for him. I liked him. I wanted him to break the record too. He was kind of cool. I liked them all. I mean, like I said, Mark McGuire, he was fun to watch, and he was a good player before. I mean, he was still.
yeah.
I mean, he was a 40 home run hitter before all that kind of
That
took place.
man, who was the player that was he said he injected these players?
Was it Jose
Jose
Canseco?
Canseco, yeah.
Yeah.
Canseco, is he in the Hall of Fame?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. He was a star too, though, man. But yeah,
Yeah.
he kind of let it like let it all out. Yep, yep. These guys are doing this, and I injected them, and yep, we used to do this and this and this.
Jeez.
They hate him. They hate him.
Wow. Yeah, man. But yeah, the MLB is ate up.
Yeah, yeah. I agree. Like I said, I haven't really paid attention to baseball much in a while. Like I said, I paid a little attention to it this year because the Tigers, kind of made a little run. And like I said, I've never been a huge baseball fan. I've been a Tigers fan. And so when the Tigers are doing well, I
Okay.
watch the Tigers and pay attention to it. But like I said, I that whole steroids era and all that kind of stuff, when it all after it came down, it kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. And like I said, so not a huge fan of. I didn't really play it growing up, so I mean, to me, it's kind of boring, to be honest with you. Out of all the ones, I don't mind going to the ballpark and watching the game live. That's fun. That's a
Yeah.
different atmosphere. And my youngest boy Drew, he's a big baseball fan, so I go and watch youth baseball and enjoy that. But it's right there at the park. It's the
Right.
atmosphere is a cool atmosphere.
It is. It is. I can always it's always better to go to the park versus watching it on TV. But if I'm letting you know now, if the Sox or the Cubs are playing, I will sit there and watch the whole game.
Yeah,
Um, I was kind of I'm sorry, my phone was going off.
no,
I was kind of born into the baseball thing. It's my grandfather, my great grandfather actually played baseball. He was a huge St. Louis Cardinals fan. Lived in Mississippi, right there. Um, my uncle Dwayne, he's a huge football fan, but he started out watching baseball. So coming up as a kid, when we were still in Chicago, the game was always on.
yeah,
So yeah, I was born into baseball, but football is my first sport. That's like
yeah.
I can watch anybody play football, not as much as baseball, but yeah, I'm a baseball fan.
Yeah.
This
Like I said,
this is the inner league right here. South
I,
Side,
yeah,
Shy.
I just watched. I watched the Tigers. Like I said, I did enjoy watching Shohei Ohtani a little bit this year. He's a special player, but like I said, my first love is basketball, followed closely by football. But football and basketball, I can watch anytime. Like I said,
Yeah.
even like I said, if I just happen to be walking down the road and there's a youth league going on, I'll watch youth football. And like I said, I ref it, I coach it, basketball, ref it,
I
coach it. Just
I heard you was pretty good in basketball though.
I
You
can
played
ball.
against you played against some hoopers.
The group that I went to high school with is wild.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I always tell that, like I said, because like I said, I mean, when I play, especially once I got outside of high school, I would play in leagues and stuff like that, and I would have people say, "Oh, where'd you go to college at?" And I'm like, "Dude, I didn't even play high school." And they're like, "Shut up." And so I try to explain it to people that when I was in high school, our varsity team had Marcus Norris, who went on and played Division I basketball and played
Hmm.
professional overseas.
Yep.
Ray Leathers, that went and played
Michigan
professional
State.
basketball. Michigan State
Yeah.
played on NBA teams, usually on 10-day contracts, but made NBA rosters.
Right, right.
And Reggie Hester, who went and played at Arizona State and before he got in trouble. Um,
Right.
Reggie was my boy. I loved Reggie. I said I was really disappointed when he got into trouble because I actually thought he had the potential to be the best out of all those guys. And I grew up
Yeah,
with Reggie. I've known Reggie since I was in the fifth or sixth grade.
yeah, he was
Um,
really athletic.
hmm
Yeah.
And then there was like Larry Johnson. He went and played
Larry
at like
Johnson. Yeah.
Western or Central Michigan. Ryan Holmes played at Western or Central Michigan. And then we had like people like Jeremy Patterson who went and played at Spring Arbor, a smaller school. But I mean, there was 5 or 6 players on that team that played Division I basketball and pro basketball. And then there were some other players on the team that played at Division II, Division IIIs, or even like Mike Smith that went and played at Lansing Community College. I mean, there was 10 players on that team that played college basketball.
Yeah. And then the JV team right up under there has some good players too.
Yeah, like I
And
said,
the one that sticks out to me is because I know him personally was Harry Moore.
oh my God, Harry
Yeah.
Moore was so good. Did he drop out in high school though?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I
Yeah.
remember that too. I graduate. I mean, I didn't graduate. Harry Moore was in my grade. Me and Harry were
Yeah.
good buddies in fourth or fifth grade, and I loved Harry. I used to go over his house over there on Sheddock Street, and we used to hang out.
Maple.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we used to hang out. I can remember I would go down to the King Center and play basketball with those guys, and I'd be the only white kid there, and everybody be looking at me kind of funny. But and that
Yeah.
was even
Harry
before
was
I could even
good.
that was before I could even play basketball. Really, I mean, but that's kind of what taught me how to play basketball is
Right.
being around all those good players and then going and playing with them at King Center. Taught me how to play basketball. And like I said, so no, I didn't end up playing on my high school team, but I mean, because there were some good
Yeah.
players there.
Yeah. Yeah. If you
But
wasn't good, you was gonna get at least halfway decent just from playing,
yes,
with them and
yes,
against them. I
yeah,
mean, yeah, they were good, man.
yeah,
They
they're
were
good. I
really
mean,
good.
and every single one of those players, not Harry, but every other single one of those players, like they're all 6'3", 6'4", 6'6". I mean, they're all tall too. You know what's crazy about those teams though is those teams never made it out of districts.
That's crazy.
Yeah, isn't that nuts? I mean,
That's crazy.
I remember that year they went and played Albion because Albion had some players too, and yeah, they couldn't beat Albion.
That's another, and as small as Albion was, man, I mean, that's like a doggone village.
Yeah,
And they had some hoopers. Like
yeah,
they
they
really
did.
had some good players, man. And I'm
And
just like, wow, man,
what's
this is
crazy is a couple years after we graduated, they don't even have a high school anymore. I
that's
mean,
yeah, they gotta go to What, Marshall or something
Marshall,
like that?
Concord, yeah, Marshall, Concord. Some of them go to Western. I mean, yeah, it's they kind of all split up, but yeah, that was kind of crazy. But yeah, I could play a little bit. I could play a little bit. Like I said, it's I still love it. I still go play now. I now don't play as much as I used to, but I played in a Gus Macker last year and still could play with those guys. And I
Oh, okay.
now I now we started this last year. We do a Sunday morning pickup league up at the high school up here, and so we did it last year. We started in like November, and when I first went, ugh, so out of shape, hurt so bad. But then by the time March comes around, okay, I'm good and playing now. Then we stop. Well, we just started it back up like 3 or 4 weeks ago. I missed the first 2 weeks, but I've gone the last two now, and same thing. A couple times up and down the court, dead. I told Amy, I
And you sweating like a hog.
sweating like a hog, can't breathe. My everything from my hip below is locked up. I told Amy I got home last week. I was like, babe, I said I don't know when I became a fat piece of shit, but it happened. It definitely happened. I don't know when, but it happened.
You do so much playing basketball. You don't even realize it when you're a kid, but just all of the movements you do, especially on defense, you're trying to block the shot, you got your
Yeah.
hands where, you moving like, I mean, you using muscles that you don't realize you using until you get older.
Oh, and it's crazy too. So I mean, like I said, I've been coaching for a couple years now. So like the last 2 years, I'd coached freshman boys and helped out with the JV, and so every now and then I'd have to get in there with them and scrimmage or run plays with them, and I realized, oh my god, I can't run with these guys anymore. Half court for a couple plays, I'll be all right, but once they start running full, they kill me. Even my son, if we're playing full court, after a couple times up and down the court, he's going to take me. Um,
Yeah.
but then it was funny. So that now I'm coaching the girls varsity. And so for the first time ever this past weekend, we had 9. So I was like, well, I'm just going to hop in and run with them a little bit. Half court, but I'm a lot bigger than the girls, so I can still do a little something, but they're still way too fast for me. Way too fast for me.
What was your strength? Like what did you do best?
Post. I was a
Post.
rebounder, post player. I mean I could drive. I wasn't never much of a shooter. But I could drive. I can drive and post pretty well, but yeah,
Yeah. I wasn't a hooper at all. I had fun playing against some of those guys that we mentioned.
yeah,
A lot of my classmates were pretty good, but the one thing they did like about me though, I would hustle.
yeah, yeah,
I hustle. I'm going for the steal. I go for the rebound, and I'll shoot. I'll make a shot open.
yeah.
If I'm open, I couldn't create nothing, but it
Yeah.
was just so fun. Just playing with those guys, man. I miss those days, man.
I really now that you're kind of even just bringing that up, I really owe a lot probably to Harry Moore, and I don't know. Do you remember Donnell Bennett?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Those were my boys, and like I said, so I used to go to Donnell's house on he lived on
Ultra.
Orchard
Yeah.
Place, and then
Yep.
Harry lived on Shiddock. And so I would go hang out with them. They're the ones that would take me to the King Center. They would be the ones that would vouch for me. Oh, he's cool, things like that. And so
Yeah.
they're the ones that really probably got me into basketball and learning it a tough way. Because that's what I always try to tell my kids. Like I said, basketball's so different from when I was a kid. When I was a kid, there was always the game somewhere at the park, and now you don't
We
see it.
wanted to go to the park. We couldn't wait to go. I mean, if like me, I wasn't that good. I'm not ashamed to say it. I wasn't
Hmm.
a great basketball player, but it was still so fun. You couldn't wait to get down
Yeah,
to the park,
yeah,
to the center.
yep,
When we moved from Chicago, that was I had never seen basketball courts like that, like
yeah,
they had in Jackson.
yeah,
In Chicago, it was just straight concrete.
yeah,
That that asphalt or pavement, whatever that was
Mhm.
that they had, that was, I mean, I was like, man, what is this? And
Yeah.
my boy came from Chicago. He was the real hooper. I mean, he played and he was like 6'5", and he came to Jackson and played, and they was like, "Who is this cat?" I'm like, "This is my boy from Chicago." Whoa, 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 whoa. And
Yeah.
so I was excited about
Yeah.
that, and he seen the court, and he was just like, "Man, what is this?" I'm like, "Man, I don't know, but it looked good."
Yeah.
So
There's some nice courts in Jackson. Optimist. We used to go to Bloomfield and
yeah,
um, Loomis, King
and
Center.
they recently took one away, the one that was next to Burger King.
Yeah, Optimist.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So
They're
that's
they're
no
building a Chick-fil-A there right now.
Jackson getting a Chick-fil-A.
Oh,
Boy, goodness.
I couldn't be happier. I'm actually worried that I'm gonna have to get a new job to pay for it all because I love Chick-fil-A.
Oh, oh, you dig it like that, huh?
I do. So, but the closest one we have is either Lansing or Toledo. But I mean,
All right.
when we go, Amy will go. She'll go to Lansing for something. She'll be like, "Oh, I'm gonna get Chick-fil-A." She'll drop $100 and bring it home, and
What?
yeah, she'll get like 90 nuggets and sandwiches and sides, and we
Wow.
tear it up. I can eat a whole 30 box of nuggets by myself without a
I
problem.
can too. I
Without a
can
problem.
too. Yeah.
So
But the thing is down here in Georgia, man, it's a Chick-fil-A on every corner.
yeah. Well,
I mean, I could literally go to a Chick-fil-A and be there in 2 minutes.
I'm so jealous of you right now.
They build it's like I mean, they even tearing down Chick-fil-A's and then rebuilding them like a brand new one right there in the same spot. And I'm just like, what was wrong with that one? But
Well,
they, that
every time I drive by, it gets a little more done. They actually have the building. The frame is up. It's coming. It's coming. I'm excited.
wow. Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm sick of Chick-fil-A.
Oh,
I
last
mean, yeah, it's because it's here. You will see. Once you have it at
I
your
get it.
fingertips like that, it's just
I get
like,
it. Yeah.
let me try something else, man.
Yeah, that's probably what some of the aura is that I don't have access to it. So it's good, and then I don't have access to it. So and it's like when I get it, it's like, oh my God, this is so good. But yeah,
Yeah.
when all of a sudden it's right there, and I'm going there 4 or 5 days in a week, I probably won't like it anymore.
But it's good though. I have to pace myself on it. If it's been a month or even 2 months, I would like, what, let me get a Chick-fil-A. That's you get sick of it, but it comes, I mean it stays in the rotation. I say that.
I got you. I got you.
How did we do on picks last week?
Oh God, I don't remember who we picked. I don't
Oh,
have
I
them
can.
written down. I know
Oh,
last week we both went 4-3, but I know we phoned in our picks this week. I just don't remember. Did you? I'm recording on my phone right now, so I don't have the text.
I can pull it up.
Oh no.
Uh, okay, so I picked the Panthers for upset. I picked the Bills. I picked the Commanders, the Bengals, Broncos, Chargers. Well, Chargers got spanked. Steelers, Packers, Vikings. You picked the Cowboys. That was a win. You picked the Lions. Loss. Commanders, Bengals, Broncos, Chargers, Eagles, Seahawks, Vikings. So we just had a couple of differences there. Um, you won the Cowboys. I lost that one. I won the Bills. You lost that one. We both won the Bengals. We both won the Broncos. We both lost the Chargers. You picked the Eagles. I picked the Steelers. I lost that one. The Packers did beat the Seahawks, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
pretty
picked the
big.
Packers. Yeah, and you picked the Seahawks. Uh, that almost sounds like a tie.
It does. Yeah, I'm missing somebody here. Yeah. So was that 7 games?
Uh, let me see. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine.
Oh, okay. I'm missing somebody then. All right, Sam again. You picked
Okay,
Carolina.
so, yep. So I got the Panthers, Bills, Commanders, Bengals, Broncos, Chargers, Steelers, Packers, Vikings. You ready for yours?
Yeah.
Cowboys, Lions, Commanders, Bengals, Broncos, Chargers, Eagles, Seahawks, Vikings.
Yeah, we both went 6-3.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I didn't lose any ground.
No. So you're just a couple off of me.
Okay, so let's make the picks for this week.
Okay.
Okay, so we got the Broncos and Chargers tonight.
I'm
That's a
gonna.
very interesting game.
Yeah, that is interesting. It's in LA.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Chargers.
Yeah, me
I
too.
think I think they'll bounce back. Texans and Chiefs Saturday.
I've got the Chiefs. Well,
Yeah,
actually,
they.
is Mahomes playing or no? Do we not know?
It said it looks like he is playing.
Yeah, then I got the Chiefs.
Okay, I'm a. I think I'm a. I'm gonna go Chiefs too. Steelers Ravens.
Oof. I got Baltimore.
I'm gonna go Steelers. Lions and Bears.
We have to go with our teams.
I can't pick the Lions.
No, not in this one. You can't.
Okay, all right, okay, I got you. Oh my God, you got Lions, I got Bears. Okay, Eagles, Commanders. This is gonna be a good week.
That's a tough one. I'm gonna go Washington.
Okay, I'm gonna go Eagles. Oh, let's see. Hmm. Wow. Vikings, Seahawks in Seattle.
I'm gonna go Vikings, but I'm rooting for Seattle.
I'm gonna go with Seattle. Uh 49ers and Dolphins. Both 6-8.
I'm gonna go 49ers. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna go Miami.
Hmm. I was gonna go Miami too. Um, I'll go Niners. Since you went Miami, I'll go Niners.
Okay,
Uh, Bucks and Cowboys.
I got the Bucks.
I do too. And Saints and Packers. I think that's a no-brainer. That's the
Yeah,
Monday night game.
I got Green Bay.
Yeah, me also.
Okay, cool. All right, about ready to
Okay.
wrap it up then.
Yeah, we can wrap it up, man, and get ready to watch this game.
Pistons are on tonight too, so I gotta watch them too.
Okay. Yeah, the Bulls suck. I
So does
love our logo though. I think that bull looks so cool and mean. I've always don't bring it up.
I like it upside down. I like
You
the upside
know?
down look. I like the robot with the crab. I like that a lot better.
Yeah. Okay. Oh man. You know what? For the record, I've never seen all of our teams this bad all at the same time. This is like never happened.
For Chicago, yeah. It's happened for Detroit. I mean,
Yeah.
a couple years ago, every Detroit team was one of the worst in the league. So I feel you,
Yeah.
brother. I feel you.
Yeah.
It's a
This
tough
is
feeling.
I mean, we could always hang our hat on one of the teams.
Right.
And this,
Yeah. That's a tough one. I feel for you. I feel for you. Which one do you think is the most likely to come out of it? I'd say it's the Bears myself.
it just really depends on who they hire for the leadership, for coaching. I mean, obviously this whole coaching staff was bad.
Yeah.
I mean, every last one of them. I mean, we haven't won a game since, that debacle in Washington.
Yeah.
They got rid of the head coach and we still losing.
Yeah. I don't know how we
Yeah.
got back on the Bears again. I apologize for that.
Man. Yeah.
Hey, talk us into next week, buddy. Talk us into next week.
Yeah. Yeah. Already looking forward to next season. Our season starts with who we hire in
Right.
damn February or March.
Right. Right.
But yeah. All right, we're gonna wrap this thing up. As always, continue to check for us on all platforms, and I mean all platforms. Continue to subscribe, like, share, comment on everything, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Uh, what am I missing?
I think you got
Spotify.
Spotify, Apple
Yeah.
Music.
Apple. Yeah. Check for us. Check for us. Please comment. Let us know your thoughts on the show. You know, we accept criticism, constructive criticism. We working on this thing. So uh continue to grow with us. We love you all that check for us. So there it is. Jake, you got anything to add, brother?
No, I do. Thanks guys. I do appreciate all the support. Yeah, subscribe, share. We appreciate everything we get, and we'll try to keep giving you guys good content. And until next week, go
Until
Lions.
next week. Shot town, baby.